What's up, you guys? We're going to start calling you couch potatoes with a K.
Yeah.
Potatoes can be normal.
Yeah.
What's up, couch potatoes? Welcome back. Kouch Chronicles episode 15. 15 weeks of sitting on the couch and talking.
That's crazy. We do that anyways.
I know. We've been doing that for 3 years.
Well, if you're joining us for the first time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Kelsey.
And
This is our podcast.
Welcome to it. We're so glad you joined us. Today, we have some stories we want to tell. We're going to talk about like some spooky stories, scary stories that have happened.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it will take us into many side quests.
Oh, as anything we talk about does.
Just so you guys know, most of the time, we cut out a good like 30 to 40 minutes of content because it's either us just laughing uncontrollably for like a really long time or we just go on these tangents that are like not relevant at all.
Like, you guys think we talk a lot already, and we probably leave a lot in the episodes that we probably could cut out.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine 30 more minutes of nonsense.
If you want it, though, we can give it to you.
We can.
We want to know what you want to hear us talk about, too, because we have a very long list in our phones, but like,
what's like relevant to the people who listen?
What do you want to know? Do you want us to talk about like pop culture? Please say no. Please say no.
I don't want to talk about pop culture.
Anyways, we're going to talk about scary stories. So Kristen has a really, really scary one.
Yeah. You have a couple, don't you?
Before we start today's episode, we're going to like catch you guys up, do a little life update. So kick us off. What's going on in your life, Kristen?
Okay. This past weekend, I was in Houston for my brother's wedding. So my brother is married. If you're listening and you don't know me personally, I have a brother who's 5 years older than me, lives in Houston, Texas with his now wife. And my new sister-in-law.
Whoa,
and
you have a sister-in-law.
I have a sister-in-law, my very first one.
That's crazy.
Well, it would be my only one.
Well, you never know.
You never know. But yeah, it was really, really exciting.
What kind of wedding was it?
It was basically like an elopement, like a courthouse wedding. We just went to the courthouse in Houston. And her parents came, a couple of their friends came, and then like our family came. And yeah, we got to sit and watch it happen. I don't know. It was so cool.
The pictures were really cute. Well, you'll have to share those on the Instagram.
Yeah. So that's what I got up to this weekend. I went to Austin first, stayed with my sister and her boyfriend, which was really nice. I always like visiting them. And then we drove to Houston, celebrated my brother and his wife, and then drove back. And then my plane got delayed, so I was supposed to leave Sunday evening and get in like pretty late Sunday, literally.
It was like midnight.
Yeah. But my plane got delayed, and I had to stay another night, and my flight didn't leave until 7 a.m. the next morning. And I was so stressed because I was scheduled to go to an on-site interview Monday at noon.
40 minutes away from our apartment.
Yeah, at noon. And
you landed at what, 10?
10.
Imagine you like don't get to sleep. You get on a long flight, land at 10, assuming there's no more delays. Have to get off the plane, get in a car, get home, change, prep for the interview, and then like leave.
Yeah, because I did not have proper clothing with me for a job interview. Yeah. So I was so stressed out of like if it got delayed again and if I missed it, if I would have had to email them and have them change it last minute, which I just feel like is so rude.
Yeah, like when you're wanting a job and like interviewing at a company, the last thing you want to do is make it like inconvenient. Like you just want to be like, whatever works for you, I can do, and just like make it all work.
Especially same day.
Yeah.
Like same day, they would have understood because I'm not physically in town.
Right. And it's not your fault. Like your flight, it's something totally out of your control.
But I would have felt so bad, and I would have been like, it's totally okay if you guys don't want to give me the job. But know that I'm stranded on a plane somewhere. But all went well. Yeah, I made it. Interview went well, I think. We'll see.
Fingers crossed. Everybody cross your fingers right now.
I got to reunite with my little shadow baby after being gone for like 5 days.
Dude, let me just tell you guys, we have severe separation anxiety, and she was gone for 5 days. It felt like a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Like it.
For me too.
Oh, I hated it. You can never leave again.
Yeah. Going on little like family, I guess vacations is what you could call it, is always very interesting for me. My family is something else. So I was ready to come home. Family, if you're listening to this, I love you, but I was ready to come home. But yeah. And now I've just been like cleaning up, doing laundry, chilling, getting caught back up on my life,
starting the routines again.
Yeah, thank God.
Last night we got to sit down and have dinner and watch TV and like just so normal routine. My week while you were gone felt so long.
Yeah, what did you get up to?
Our friend Gabby came over. Mm-hmm. Gabby came over Friday night and Saturday night, and we just went out and about. We like went out in Gaslamp District. It was the weirdest night of our lives. Like I do not need to go out at nighttime at Gaslamp ever again. That's a daytime thing for me. But it was really funny. Like we have a lot of funny stories from that night. And then Saturday we went over to Coronado, came back. We had a nice breakfast over at Coronado. And then, and we just hung out for a little bit. Gabby took a nap. I painted my nails. We were like, we gotta like chill for a minute. And then neighbor boy came down too, and he took both of us out to Punch Bowl Social. We like played some games, had a little snack, some drinks.
Did that location have a bowling alley?
It did, yeah, but we actually got in line for the bowling alley, but it was like a 2-hour wait. So you gotta like get there early if you want to bowl.
I feel like it usually is such a long wait.
Yeah.
I've never been to the one out here, but I feel like the ones that I've been to, other places, the wait to bowl is so long.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed because like the very first thing we did was we tried to play darts. Mm-hmm. So neighbor boy went up to get darts and she was like, well, they're normally in this bucket, but there's none left. And we found 2, but they were like broken.
Where were they at?
Beats me. All the dart boards by us were empty.
What?
I think people were just like taking them or losing them or breaking them.
Why would you take a dart from somewhere?
People are crazy.
People are crazy.
Yeah. So, but it was really fun. We spent the most time probably playing ping pong. It was Gabby and neighbor boy versus me, and I won.
God. Oh my God.
Gabby?
Yeah, actually, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Love you, Gabby, too.
Yeah. She knows. She knows. And then we played cornhole. I didn't even tell you this. Neighbor boy went to return the ping pong paddles. Mm-hmm. That was so many P's.
Ping pong paddles.
I was like, okay, Gabby, like practice throwing these bags before neighbor boy gets back. So you can be like, good, okay. And she like launches it into the ground. And I was like, okay, you gotta loft it a little bit more. And there's like these beams across the ceiling. So she lofts it and it lands on top of a beam.
On top of it?
So then I'm like, oh, I can get that down. So I'm taking another bag and throwing it at that bag. My bag gets stuck too.
So now you have 2 bags stuck up there?
2 bags were stuck, but there were like a lot of extra bags, so it ended up being fine. The bags were a little inconsistent. Some were like kind of empty with beads, some were full. Like I just feel like Punch Bowl should be more on top of that.
Do better.
Yeah. But it was really fun.
That is so funny.
Neighbor boy won in cornhole. He had a crazy comeback. I was winning the whole time, but it was really fun. Gabby was like returning. Too. Really?
Yeah, in Houston. We went to a bar that had cornhole.
Oh, it's my favorite game, I think.
My brother and I were on a team and we won. But mostly thanks to him.
Love that. And then Gabby left Sunday morning and me and neighbor boy had ourselves a whole day, but I'm going to save that for our April date recap because I'm not sure if we're going to see each other again this month or like if we have time to like do anything date worthy. So yeah. Anyways, it was a really good weekend. It just was so long. Like it felt like the longest weekend ever. And I was like, oh, when is Kristen coming back? I miss my routine.
I don't think I realized like how long I was going to be in Texas because I went down so much earlier than the wedding because the wedding was on Saturday and I got there on Wednesday.
You got there Wednesday. You left Wednesday morning, like really early. It was horrible. I hated it. But I'm glad you had fun and I'm glad your brother got married.
It's about to oh no. It's at 12 and a half. Yeah, I'm really happy for them and happy to welcome a new sister into the fam. But I am so happy to be home and back to my life and a routine.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you're home
Me
too. The only other life update I have, I guess, is my June date recap is going to be crazy.
You guys will not be ready. I'm not going to be ready. I cannot wait.
I can't believe that this is happening.
She's getting married.
No. No.
Just kidding.
Neighbor boy planned a really cool date. And it's going to be crazy.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm going to show up. I'm coming.
I support that.
Okay.
We won't tell him.
Don't tell him.
Neighbor boy, don't listen.
Hey, neighbor boy, if you're listening, stop. Hey, I'm going to come.
Okay. Let's get into the story time, shall we?
Yeah. So you have 2 stories. I have one pretty big one, I would say. So you go first, then I'll go, and then you finish.
Okay. Mine are like, they were scary in the moment, but then looking back, like they're just funny. Hers is actually scary.
Yeah. I feel like if you're listening to this, like anyone would be very uncomfortable.
Yeah. All right. So mine starts in, I think, middle school. I lived on this street in Indiana, very safe, quiet suburb neighborhood in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Very nice part of town, really. And I had this neighbor, Meredith. She was my best friend growing up, and she lived right around the corner.
What's up, girl?
What up, Meredith? I actually don't know if she listens to this, but I'll tell her to listen to this one. And we were walking to Meredith's house, and it was dark. It was summertime. We would like stay out late, go back and forth between each other's houses. So fun.
Oh, I love having friends like in your neighborhood when you were growing up. It was so much fun.
Yes, it was the best. Like I had such a good childhood. So Meredith and I were walking back to her house. We were going to stay the night at her house. We had sleepovers all the time. And it was dark outside. We must have been, it might have been like freshman year of high school or like 8th grade or something. Because my brother had friends who could drive, or my brother could drive or something. And we're walking to Meredith's. And keep in mind, I am the world's most paranoid person. I've always been scared of everything, pretty much. And
she gets so paranoid, you guys.
Even sober, like it's insane. I think I must have been like shot in a past life because I am terrified of being shot. When have I ever been in a situation where I was going to get shot? Never.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're walking.
I feel the same way about car accidents.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So we were walking to Meredith's house, and we had to go straight, and then we had to turn left, and then her house was like on the right, on that street, on the left. If I could show you guys a map, I would. So we're crossing the street, like where we need to turn left, and there's this SUV coming towards us on like the street that we were on. So it's going straight.
What time is it?
It's probably like 10 o'clock.
Oh my God. Okay. That's a lot later than I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this SUV's coming. I'm always, for some reason, when I would be outside at nighttime and a car would drive by, I would hide.
It would freak me out.
I was always scared.
Yeah, I was always immediately uncomfortable.
Yeah, I just remember as a kid.
I still hate when cars drive by me if I'm like walking outside.
But as a kid, I just assumed anyone who's driving at nighttime is up to no good.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. What would you be doing at nighttime besides having a sleepover with your friends?
Honestly, you don't know.
Yeah.
You never know. They could be doing anything.
Yeah. So me in this quiet, safe neighborhood, walking with my friend, cars coming. So naturally, I'm already on edge. But I'm like, whatever. They're going straight. We're on like a side street. They're not going to turn down here. It's fine. Well, all of a sudden, they slow way down. And I'm like, oh God. They're going to stop and they're going to shoot us. And then they turn their headlights off. So then I'm like starting to really pick up the pace. And Meredith's house is literally like diagonal from us. It's so close. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, oh my God.
I would have been freaked out.
Then they turn onto our street that we're on with their headlights off, moving like a mile per hour.
Oh no.
So I'm freaking out.
And you don't recognize the car?
No, it's this big black SUV that I've never seen before.
Okay.
Then the window rolls down.
I'd be peeing my pants.
Oh, I was freaking out. Then all of a sudden you hear pop, pop, pop.
What?
Yep. Me and Meredith both. The car then speeds off, zooms away. Meredith and I sprint into her house. I'm sobbing uncontrollably.
Okay.
And her mom is like, what? Like, what's going on? What happened? And then I get a text from my brother that says, LOL, that was me.
Wait, what was the pop, pop, pop?
You know those little like firework things that you throw at the ground and they
like
pop?
poppers?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they were called?
Something like that, yeah.
That's the innocent name for them, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or the innocent use of that word.
They threw those at the ground.
Oh my God.
And he thought it was funny. When I tell you, I think this is the most scared I've ever been in my life. I was so scared. I made Meredith's mom drive me home. And this is like an hour later. I'm still crying about it. And I knew it was him.
I punched my brother in the face.
Well, he wasn't home. He drove away in the car.
Oh my God.
And it was like his friend's car. I was so scared and freaked out that I like cried to my parents until they yelled at him. Like I was like, you need to yell at him. Like he scared me so bad.
Little sister behavior too at the same time.
Also, I'm a middle child. So, you know, yeah. But yeah, it was so scary. And looking back, it's a hilarious story. But I wonder if my brother still remembers. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Meredith,
I would be so scared too.
Yeah. I wonder if Meredith is as, like, I wonder if she even remembers it. Because to me, I remember every detail.
Yeah.
Like, it was so scary.
A major life event.
And I wonder if it was as scary to her. Because she definitely wasn't crying like I was. Like, I don't think she cried at all. Which was very normal between me and Meredith. Like, I would cry and she wouldn't. Like, she never cried really. And I cried all the time. But yeah, it was terrifying. So
yeah, I would have been scared too, and then I would have been so mad.
Oh, I was livid.
Oh my gosh, I just know my parents would have been so pissed, but I'm sure they would have like laughed about it after I went to bed or something.
I know they definitely were mad at him, but I want to know what they were actually thinking.
Yeah,
I'll have to see if they were. To me, it was such a big life event, and I'm like, does anybody else that was involved remember this? Because it probably wasn't that big of a deal to them.
Yeah.
Should I call?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
We're recording a podcast right now, and you're on it.
Okay.
Okay. Do you remember when Meredith and I were walking to Meredith's house, and you and your friends drove by, and
turn the car lights off?
Yes.
Oh, he does. Remember.
And you threw those poppers at us.
Yeah, the ones that. Yeah. I don't remember what those are called though.
Neither do we. But you remember that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because to me that was like a huge moment in my life. Like it traumatized me. It was to this day the scariest thing I think that's ever happened to me.
Well, that means we did it right.
Party snappers.
Party snappers? That's what the label says. Yeah.
Like the little red boxes.
Yeah, they came in boxes, and you like threw them at the ground, and they were like pop.
Yeah, they were little white things that were twisted up.
Yeah.
We didn't call them, we didn't call them party snappers or whatever, but yeah, that's what they were.
Yeah, just so you know, you traumatized me. And do you remember me like I made Meredith's mom drive me home, and then I was like crying to mom and dad about it for like an hour, and I was like, you need to yell at him. Like I can't believe he did that. And I think they did. Did they?
I don't remember if they did or not. I feel like I didn't get in very much trouble.
I don't think you got in very much trouble, but I'm pretty sure mom called you and was like, you scared your sister so bad. You need to apologize.
Did I ever apologize? I don't know if I did.
I don't remember that part of the story. I only remember what you did.
Oh, man, that was a really good one, too.
Crazy how we have different perspectives on this story.
Yeah, well, because one of us knew that you weren't in any danger.
Yeah. It's funny though, because no matter what, I mean, you'll hear the podcast, but at nighttime, if I was outside, I was scared of any car that drove by me. Like I would hide. And you guys were going pretty fast, slammed on your brakes, turned so that you were on the same street as, turned off your headlights, rolled down the window, and then threw those stupid things.
That's so scary.
We weren't going that fast.
You were going like a normal speed, but then you like really slowed down when you saw us. Like you could tell that like you saw us and then slowed down because you saw us.
Yeah.
All right. That's all.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye.
So he remembers that he traumatized you.
Yeah, I'm glad he remembers that story. That's funny. I'll have to text Meredith and see if she remembers too.
You have to.
But anyways, that's my story. Your turn.
Oh wow. Okay.
Hers is actually scary, like real scary.
Mine happened like 2 years ago now. I feel
Yeah.
like.
I think
Year and a half.
So, yeah. I think it was closer to 2.
Yeah. So background, I was doing, if you know, like the 75 hard challenge, that's like walking every day, like 10,000 steps, working out twice a day, like eating clean, blah, 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 whatever. I was doing the 75 soft challenge at the time. So, it just wasn't as like vigorous.
Like strict. I didn't realize that you were doing that. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe I just forgot.
Yeah. Cause I mean, after like a few days, 75 days is a really long time.
That is a really long time.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was doing the 75 soft challenge, and part of it is you have to hit 10,000 steps a day. And at the time, I was working in an office, like full time during the week, during the day. And it was really hard for me to get 10,000 steps in because I feel like my job was so busy that it wasn't like at my lunch break I could get up and go for a walk.
Right.
And we dressed business professional.
So you don't want to like sweat.
Yeah,
that.
because I worked, the office was in like Calabasas, which is like so much warmer, I feel like, than by the water.
Yeah, definitely. So, like sometimes like 20 degrees warmer.
Yeah, like it got so hot. So I just didn't want to sweat.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the backstory of the story. So I would get up really early in the mornings before work and try and get at least half the steps in for the day because I knew I could probably hit like the other half throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I would try and just get like 5K steps in the morning. So one day I get up, it's like 5 a.m. I think is how early I would get up because I would have to be ready and leave by like 6:30.
Yeah. Like
7. But usually I would try and leave around 6:30 because it was like an hour drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a time, dude. You were literally getting up at like 5 o'clock every day. And I was like sleeping in till like 8.
Yeah. I hated you. I was so jealous.
I can't even sleep in like that anymore.
I know. But then I was forcing myself to do it. I didn't have to get up and walk 5,000 steps at 5 a.m.
You chose that life.
I chose it. So I don't know. I don't really like to walk by myself when it's dark outside. Yeah. Like I feel like any girl, right? Any woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's 5 a.m. so the sun had not risen yet.
Right. So typically I would get up and I would just walk around our courtyard in our apartment, but it's so small that when you're walking like lap around the same stuff, it gets so boring.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to walk on the treadmill. Like I wanted to take a walk outside in the morning because I also like read this thing or saw this thing that getting out like and getting fresh air in the morning is like really good for you and like really helps you like wake up and I don't know, whatever.
Doesn't surprise me. It makes sense.
So I was like, yes, like I want to be outside when I do this. So I decided to walk around the marina instead one morning. And I'm thinking like it's a pretty active community. Like,
it's a very safe community
and very
too.
Safe. Yes.
There's like not a lot of homeless people. There's not a lot of crime.
Yeah.
It is a very active community. You see people up and running at 5 a.m. all the time.
Right. Like it feels just like a little bubble.
It is
a little safe bubble.
Exactly.
Or it did up until this day for me. But so I choose to go like outside of our apartment to take the walk around the marina.
Like walk by the water?
Yes. So take all like the bays. I don't really know what they're called. Where all the docks are.
Yeah.
And I pretty much walk across the street from our apartment and go on like the first one. And as I'm walking, I have headphones in. I don't need anyone to tell me if it's stupid or not to have headphones in when I'm walking alone, especially when it's like kind of dark and like the sun is rising. I get it.
And also you are like hyper aware of your surroundings. Like you'll even turn around and stuff. So like you know what's going on.
Yeah. I wasn't just like headphones in, not paying attention to anything around me. I am always very hyper aware.
Yeah.
So I know what's going on around me. But this morning I noticed that like not a lot of people were out and it kind of made me nervous, but I was like, like I should be totally fine.
Yeah, it's 5 a.m.
It's 5 a.m.
Who's awake right now committing crimes?
Right, exactly. Right. So as I'm getting like, or going down one of the bays, all of a sudden a bike like whizzes past me. And I think at this point, like I didn't hear it coming. I know because of my headphones, but I also like never saw him like anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. So he like whizzes past me and I jump. Like I literally physically like shook and jump. And he slams on his brakes. Okay. And I'm like, oh, did I offend him by jumping? Like that's what my first thought was for whatever reason. And he gets off his bike and says like hello to me and then asks why I jumped and why I was like awake. And I was like, oh, I didn't see you until you shot past me. I just didn't expect you there.
Yeah.
And it just spooked me. So I jumped.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just out for a walk.
Yeah.
And he wasn't very clean.
Okay.
So automatically it was obvious without like sounding bad, but it was very obvious that this man was homeless.
Yeah. And you can tell. Like for the most part, you can tell.
Yeah, like you can tell. If he wasn't, then sorry, but
maybe he was just showerless.
Yeah. But anyways, that's it. I don't know. I feel like that's important to say because it sets like the vibe of like who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Like this person basically has nothing to lose.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like in the whole grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So basically this person has like nothing to lose. And I'm not even thinking that at this point, but I am like, obviously alarm bells are going off. I'm like, I don't like when anyone talks to me anyways, but being up this morning, someone's trying to make conversation with me. It's not a very comforting conversation. Like it's not a normal conversation.
Yeah.
And he's very obviously homeless.
Yeah.
I was just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so I just continue walking because that's what I do.
Right.
Especially when I don't want to talk to someone.
Right.
So I just like, I answer his questions, but then I keep walking. This man jumps back on his bike and follows alongside me.
Oh God.
I'm like not walking apparently fast enough for him to like ride that slow. So he gets off his bike and walks it next to me and just starts like talking to me. And I'm at this point like so uncomfortable. There's absolutely no one around.
I would have been scared.
The sun has come up, so it is like light outside. Not bright, but it's light outside.
Yeah.
And I am just very uncomfortable at this point.
I would have been scared at this point.
And I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna like answer his questions. Like I'm just going to chat back because he's obviously not leaving me alone.
Yeah. Like you don't want to like piss him off, but you don't want to like be overly friendly.
Yes. Because how he asked me the question, he sounded angry when he asked me like why I jumped.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, this man obviously is feeling some type of way. And I don't want to sit here and also tell him to leave me alone.
Right.
Because I feel like that would set him off.
Yeah. And you don't know, like, does he have a weapon on him?
Exactly.
Like, what are his
like,
intentions to
he
begin
had like
with?
baggy jeans on, like a big shirt. I think he had a bag, like a backpack or something. I don't know. I like at this point 2 years ago, I don't remember like that well what he was wearing. So I'm walking along and in my mind I'm thinking I cannot go all the way to the very end of this marina because if no one's out here, no one's going to be all the way out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because usually I feel like when you see people walking around the marina, there's more people on the main roads and sidewalks.
Yeah.
So going back around the bays, I was like, there's no way I'm going to continue walking that long, like with this man next to me.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the cut throughs between an apartment and the parking garage for the apartment. And I thinking, I'm just going to go this way. And he's going to still keep going straight because that's where he was going. He was going somewhere originally.
Right.
So I take a hard right and I'm like, have a nice day. Like, da-da-da. And he's like, no, like, I want to keep talking to you. And I was like, fuck.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. So he takes a hard right with me, still walking his bike next to me. Okay. So we get to the other side, which is like a main road. And he jumps back on his bike. I'm walking on the sidewalk and he is like very slowly biking next to me in like the bike lane on the road or like on the side of the road. And And he is saying things like, do you see all these buildings around us? The windows that are open, they're listening to us. Like, he was obviously mentally disturbed.
Wasn't he asking you if you were scared? Like, over and over?
Yeah. But before he was doing that, he was like literally telling me that people were listening to us in these apartment buildings, and everyone's always listening, and like there are people like spies or like people in these apartment buildings that were spying on us.
Oh God.
And I was like, oh my God. And then he was like, do you live in one of these? And I was like, no, I don't live here. You know, I'm not going to tell him where I live. I'm not going to be like, no, I live at the one across the street.
Yeah, apartment number.
Yeah.
I'm
not an idiot. Yeah, so he is like slowly biking next to me, asking me and telling me all these things. And then at one point he starts switching to, are you scared right now? Are you scared of me? If I were you, I would be scared of me. But while he's asking these questions, in my head, let me tell you guys, I have never been more proud of myself for keeping my cool. Because I honestly felt at like whatever point that if I do anything that pisses this man off, he's going to hurt me.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, I would have felt that way.
Yeah.
I think I would have been scared of being like taken or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I was like, I'm going to play it so cool, so friendly. I am not going to piss this man off in any way. That's what I felt like I needed to do to stay safe in the situation.
Yeah.
I am out. I stupidly did not have anything on me besides my phone and my headphones. I did not have pepper spray. I did not have any kind of like weapon I could have used. I had nothing on me. I had our home key, but it's like 2 inches. It's not going to do anything.
Right.
But it was technically the only quote unquote weapon I had on me. And it was like wrapped. I had it like wrapped around like my sports bra underneath my crew neck. So I couldn't have grabbed it easily. It wasn't like in my pocket that I could grab it and it's loose. It was literally clipped to my sports bra underneath my crew neck.
Yeah. And she was wearing an oversized crew neck. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like this guy was like being like just checking her out and like being a creep like that. Like he was like.
But wait. So yeah, I'm wearing a completely oversized crew neck and leggings, but the crew neck is so big it literally goes like halfway down my thighs.
Yeah.
And as he's asking me if I'm scared, I'm saying no. Like, why would I be scared? Like, I was pretty much saying it like that. Like, I was like, no, like, why would I be scared? And I, on the inside, was so terrified of what was about to happen to me. And I was like, I am going to have to do something I've never ever done before. Yeah. I'm actually going to have to fight.
Yeah.
Like, I've never fought anyone.
And not like to defend something like for your life.
For my life. And I was like, okay. So I'm like preparing for something further to happen, because after he's asking these questions, he's going, you have a great body. Like, I want to see more of your body. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. And this time he was kind of slightly behind me. So he's literally like staring at my ass, which is covered by this fucking sweatshirt. And so he's making comments about my body. And at this point, I'm like still walking. We're still in a forward motion.
I would have been crying.
I had the biggest pit in my stomach, and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I have no idea what's about to happen to me. But when I get to this main street, I think I'm going to take off running. But at the same time in my head, I'm like, can I? He's on a bike. He can go so much faster than me.
Yeah.
Like unless I get in somewhere that he can't get his bike into.
Right.
But there's nothing like that around.
Right.
So I'm panicking because even the entrance to like our apartment, I didn't want to lead him to where I lived. Like, even though our apartment was huge at the time, or not the apartment, the complex was huge at the time, that still is like one thing on his list of he can like
wait outside the building, like,
because I'm going to have to
leave
leave
at some point. Yeah, I feel like it would have been impossible to even think of what to do in this situation. But I feel like the safest thing you could have done was walk to like the hotel that's down the street.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I was just thinking of like plan A, B, C, of like, where am I going to walk to after this? So he starts asking me where I'm going. And I'm like, oh, like which way I'm going, because there's a light coming up to get onto the main road.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm going like to the right. because he was like, well, which way are you going, left or right? And I was like, right. And he started screaming at me. He started screaming at me that that's the way that I came from, and that he is taking me, like I'm taking him somewhere, or I'm trying to fool him, and he doesn't like that. And he's screaming at me.
Oh my God.
And I am literally like, I'm shitting my pants. I am so scared, and I have no idea what to do. There are like a couple cars that are passing us, because at this point, like, people are leaving for work. At this point, it like, I left at 5. It was probably 5:45, 6. So people are like leaving for work.
Yeah.
That's how long I've been out here, and that's how long this man has been like harassing me. So I see a black like Jeep, like Grand Cherokee, not that it's important, but I see a black car.
Damn, I wish you didn't say that, because this whole time I was picturing a Wrangler.
No.
Vision ruined.
Yeah. No, so this black Jeep goes by me towards the light, obviously, and I'm like walking up, and I'm like, I don't want the light to turn green, or I don't want this guy to be turning right, because you can like turn right on red.
Yeah.
At that intersection, and I was like, I hope it doesn't turn green so he can't go.
Because you just wanted somebody else there.
I wanted
you felt
somebody
safer
else there.
knowing that somebody else was there.
Yes. So I'm walking up, and there's like 2 cars at the light, and one of them turns, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, that's one less person, and now there's only 1 car left at the light, and their turn signal comes on the turn right.
Oh no.
And I'm like, no fucking way. I'm like, please, 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 please. Like, at this point, like, I am praying to the universe that someone is going to help me, because that's how scared I am.
Yeah.
And I don't care if anyone's listening and you think I'm being dramatic. I was so scared.
No, I would have been so scared in that situation too. And I feel like unless you're a female, you don't get it.
Yeah, you don't get it. And this man is just screaming at me, still biking next to me. And I look up as I'm like praying that this man in this car doesn't turn or leave me alone.
Yeah. Because like at least like if things get too out of hand, you can literally run to that car for help.
Yes.
Like worst case scenario.
Yeah. And we're getting like, we're probably like a quarter mile away at this point from the light. Like, I still have a long way to go before I get to this intersection.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's no way it's going to be red for that long. The light turns green. And my stomach sinks, because I'm like, he is the only car on this road right now, and if he leaves, I'm going to be completely alone with this man, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
He doesn't go.
Dude, now that you're telling this again, I'm like getting goosebumps, because I feel like that was like an angel that was literally sent to you.
I am not kidding.
Because how many people are going to go out of their way? Too. Like, people don't do that. People mind their own business, especially in LA.
Everyone minds their own fucking business here. Like, and almost everywhere. Like, that's just how our society is. Everyone minds their own business. Not very many people get involved with strangers when they see something happening.
Especially when it looks like something negative.
Yes. They just keep going and they hope for the best.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it. You're guilty of it. You listening, you're guilty of it. Yeah. Like, that's just who we are as human beings. But this man did not go. The car did not move. He was still braked at the light when it turned green.
Were you like the whole time like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God?
Yes. I am like, there's no way. He just hasn't seen that it's turned green yet. He's on his phone. Like, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Not thinking that he noticed me on the side with this man at all. Like, I don't know. I feel like if it were me, I'd be like, oh, that's weird. Keep going. Like, not even think twice about it. Like, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I'm getting closer and closer. And in my head, I'm thinking, please help me. Please help me. Please be someone who can help me. And he has his passenger side window rolled all the way down as I walk up with this man next to me. At this point, he's still on his bike, and now he's in between the car with this man's passenger side window down and me, who's on the sidewalk.
Okay.
And he looks at me directly into the eye because I'm like going across the street. So I was like, okay, because at one point, to stop him screaming at me, I was like, okay, like I can go straight. I'll just walk straight.
Yeah.
But straight, I go past an alley. And I'm like,
oh, like the one behind our apartment?
Where absolutely no one would see me. Even if cars are coming out to go to work, but like I can't bet on that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, like something's going to happen to me if I continue to walk straight. So I am looking at this man in this car. He is looking at me while I'm trying to wait to cross the street. And the man is still like talking to me. And I'm not listening to anything he's saying because I'm looking directly at this man in the car.
Like giving him the eyes, like, help me.
And he starts asking, hi, are you okay? Like, are you okay? And I'm so terrified to say no out loud because now that this man has heard this man and knows that this man has stopped, noticed what was happening, and waited to see if I was okay, he's freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And he turned around and started screaming at this man through his open car window and getting closer and closer to his car, basically almost jumping and putting his head like into the car. Like he is coming at this man. And he's like saying like, how dare you ask if she's okay? She's obviously fine. Like I'm just talking to her, like all this stuff. I am looking at this man. He is still looking at me. He is not even acknowledging this man screaming at him. And I, again, am so terrified. Yeah, I'm so terrified to say no out loud because I'm afraid that he's going to turn around and like hit me, like kick me, like shoot me, like stab me, whatever. Because I don't know if he has a weapon on him.
Right.
I am just shaking my head no at this man. I am shaking my head and my eyes are probably like, he could probably see like the fear in my face. And I'm just shaking my head and he goes, okay. And then he starts yelling at this man to leave me the fuck alone and that I obviously was uncomfortable. And so this man that like the scary man was obviously screaming at him back, like charging his car, like all these things. I do not even think twice. I do not stick around. I ran the fastest I've ever ran in my life straight across the street and down into one of our like entrances of our apartment that he couldn't see from where he was at.
Oh, okay.
And our apartment complex at the time, just for everyone listening, was very guarded and gated. So every entrance you had to have a fob to scan into. You couldn't just go into our courtyard.
No.
So I scan in and open the door to like the side entrance. This is the one by like the bigger dog park up the stairs.
Yeah. Okay.
And I get in. I slam the door shut behind me. I turn around and I am in immediate tears. I was in immediate tears because that whole time I played it so cool.
It was all just building up.
And it was all just building up inside of me. And I was immediate tears. I'm shaking like a leaf. I'm like breathing heavy. I think I'm about to have a panic attack. And I'm like trying to walk through our complex to get up to our apartment. And by the time I reach our door, I'm shaking so physically, like and visually bad. Like literally, if you're watching, like my hands were like this.
Oh my God.
And I had a straight on panic attack once I got into our apartment.
Once you were like finally safe and could breathe. Yeah.
Yeah. Because even while I was walking down like the hallways, I was like still looking over my shoulder and looking behind me, afraid that somehow he got in.
I wouldn't have felt safe for like days, I feel like.
Yeah.
Weeks even.
Yeah. Just had a full blown panic attack. Like a full blown panic attack once I got inside. But then I am still like, oh my God, what time is it? I have to go to work.
Oh my God.
So I am literally like, I'm sweating so bad, jump in the shower. I'm the whole time I'm like shaking and crying.
Dude.
And I couldn't stop.
I would have for sure called off work.
Oh my God, I should have.
I would have been too scared to go to my
Oh
car
my
to drive anywhere.
Yes.
No, I could not have done it.
It was so bad. I forced myself to get ready and go to work, and all day after that I was looking over my shoulder. It was like for the next like month after that I was constantly looking over my shoulder, no matter where I was going, whether I was at work, not like at a store, at home, when I was in the parking garage, all this stuff. I was constantly looking over my shoulder. And even to this day, like it makes me like even more hyper aware of my surroundings, and I feel like I just hopefully like notice everything around me, because I'm so afraid that it's going to happen to me again, or I'm so afraid someone's just going to come out of nowhere.
Dude.
It has purely traumatized me.
Yeah.
Like,
that is actually traumatizing, and I feel like I'd be scared to walk anywhere alone like for a very, very long time. Like I don't
so
even
scared.
Ugh. What's crazy though is like that guy in the Jeep was an angel sent to you, dude. Like that was like your guardian angel.
Yes.
That's insane.
Throughout the day, I could not believe it. Like, I could not believe it. I just kept thinking about this man because I'm like, I don't know how I would have, but I wish that I would have gotten like his name or his phone number. I obviously didn't get any of that. No. Like, I had no idea who this man was, had never seen him before. Like, where we lived was a pretty large area, so that's pretty common.
But you'll never see him again because that's one of those people that you see one time ever. They do something like that changes your life or saves your life or whatever. It could just be a piece of advice, but like something that alters your life in some way, and then you never see them again. Yeah, and I so believe in that shit.
Yeah, me too. Like I have always believed in angels. Yeah, always. Like I obviously still believe in angels, but that day I have never felt like in one of my angels helped me more than that day. Like that day I have never had more of an overwhelming feeling of like, I don't even know, like gratefulness.
I feel like peace too. Yeah, like to know that something is out there looking out for you.
Yes, like it was so crazy. I have never been more grateful to like, and I feel like it sounds so dramatic, but I've never been more grateful to be safe. Yeah, and to not have anything done to me. Like nothing happened. Like, yeah, I am safe. I was completely safe. Thank God nothing happened to me. Yeah. And it was the craziest feeling after that. And I still believe in angels. I believe that I have many, and I believe they are always watching over me. And now, like, after that moment, I believed in them more than ever. Yeah. More than ever.
What's really cool is one day this will be a story that like you tell your kids and grandkids. Yeah. And it's going to be like my dad has a really cool angel story and I don't even remember the story. I'll have to call him and ask him. He's told it to me a couple times, but like forever ago. And all I know is that I totally believe in guardian angels because of that story, because of something that happened to my dad. And I feel like your kids and grandkids and like other people are going to believe in that sort of thing just because of your story.
Yeah, it's just
that's how much it feels like it was a guardian angel.
Yeah, it makes me think of like other people's stories that like were even like a little bit more serious than like what happened to me. Like I listen to a lot of true crime stories. Yeah, and there are like a few women out there like that got approached by Ted Bundy and got away. Yeah, or like just didn't like entertain him that night or didn't listen to him when he asked if they could help him. And it just felt to me like something similar to that moment. Yeah. Like that I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I'm safe. Yeah. Like I had no idea who this man was. I still don't know who this man was. Like I obviously
could have just been like a crazy paranoid person, like who was freaking out.
I think about he was people spying. Yeah, and I think he was very obviously like mentally disturbed, unfortunately, and he wasn't obviously getting the proper help that he needed, and it was just a really uncomfortable and scary moment for me. And I hope that this man has found resources that can help him, and I hope that he's not doing this to anyone else. And yeah, it was honestly like, we talk about our Airbnb nightmare. Yeah. I honestly think that this is like the top scariest thing that has ever happened to me. Yeah. And like the Airbnb, to me, the fear I felt is like a close second.
Yeah, dude, I'm same. My story that I told is the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. Yeah. But the Airbnb is like really, really close.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my story. I now have pepper spray. I have a taser. And I am super paranoid. So
yeah. Woohoo, welcome to it. Oh my God, that's such a crazy story. I only ever heard you tell that story one time. And it was right after it happened. I felt like I was like, that was so cool to hear again.
I remember like telling our friends what happened to me like after that. And then it was like that weekend or a couple weekends after, you were somewhere because I went to the Amley. Yeah. When our friend May, her boyfriend Mike, lived there still. And Mackenzie and Bryant were there. And then it was like May and Mike. And then they invited me I don't know if Gabby was there. I don't think so. I think I was the only one that was like free.
Okay.
You weren't there for whatever reason. You were busy doing something else.
Yeah.
And I was telling them the story of what happened because they hadn't heard it either.
Yeah.
I think, well, Mackenzie had and May had because of our like group message, but the boys hadn't. And they like, I think Mackenzie brought it up that she was like, oh my gosh, like tell the boys what happened to you the other weekend.
Yeah.
Because Mackenzie is like terrified of people outside.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And Bryant is like very protective.
Yeah.
So she was like, tell Bryant, like, and tell Mike, like, what happened to you.
Yeah.
So I'm telling them the story. When I'm done, both of them are staring at me and they're like, I never want you to be alone again. Like they were like so protective of me. It was like actually so nice. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. Like,
dude, it's such a captivating and scary story though.
But it also like just confirms to me that what I was feeling was correct.
Yeah,
like,
because
I was
guys
afraid.
were also saying that it was scary.
Because
as a girl, you're like, was that actually scary or am I just being paranoid?
Right. And I just started to doubt what happened to me, I feel like. So when I was telling them and they were both like, that is terrifying. And like, I don't want you, like, do stop going on walks in the morning. I was like, oh my God. Okay, I had a right to be scared.
Yeah,
I had a right anyways, but like I had a right to be scared. But
it's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I now carry pepper spray and a taser on me, and I hope that never happens to me or anyone else ever again. Like I know it will, which just sucks.
Yeah. Well, be vigilant, carry pepper spray,
be safe,
and when in doubt, run.
Yeah. Fight
back, run, ask for help, be rude, do what you got to do.
Yeah. If you're a fan of the podcast, My Favorite Murder, have you listened to it?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, now I'm forgetting. They say something.
I feel like Crime Junkie says something about it too. Like
they have like a little catchphrase.
Yeah, something about like be rude. Something about it's basically like be rude to save your life. Like,
yeah.
Your life is worth being rude. I forget what it is, but it's something along those
lines.
Like
just don't be afraid to like be mean.
Yeah.
Like you just don't have to be nice to everyone around you. Like don't be afraid to be mean and to get out of a situation.
Yeah.
Like be rude if you need to be rude.
Yeah.
Like just because
and make
you're
it weird.
A woman.
If you have to make it weird, make it weird.
I feel like it's so easy, especially for women, to try and make the other person feel comfortable when you're the quote unquote like victim, or you're the person that the thing is happening to, and you're the one that's scared. And
you're more scared of like being wrong about them and then offending them than you are about like
your own safety.
This could very well be the case and I could be in danger.
Yes. Like I was completely ignoring the fact when this was happening to me. I was ignoring the fact that I felt so afraid, even though I felt like how I was reacting was the proper way for me to stay safe. Yeah. But I was so afraid to be rude. Yeah. To this man and to like make a run for it.
I would have been the same way because it's like, what if I don't run fast enough and that sets him off enough to do something?
Yeah. Again, he was on a bike. Like, oh
gosh.
Yeah. I could talk about this, I feel like, for hours about everything that could have happened. Like how I could have thought a different way, like all these things. But like what happened is what happened, and how I reacted was how I reacted. And I was just so scared.
Yeah, dude.
And let's move on.
I
can like feel the fear like in my stomach just talking about it.
I forgot like how scary that story actually is, because that was insane.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's making my hands sweat. My hands are sweaty.
So everyone be safe, especially when you're outside.
Yeah.
You should be safe wherever you go.
Yeah.
If you don't have to walk alone, don't. Especially as a woman.
Okay, I have like one more, but it's really just a funny story.
Okay, yeah, please lighten the mood.
Yeah, we'll end on a positive note.
Yeah.
There was one night where Kristen went out on a date with the lawyer. It was your first date with the lawyer.
Oh my God.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
First date with the lawyer, which is ages ago. Like that was so long ago.
October of 2022.
What?
That's how long ago it was.
Oh my God, you're right, because it was the same time as a Marine guy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I did some gardening while Kristen was gone. I was like, oh, I'm chilling. I got nothing to do tonight. I'm going to garden. So I gardened.
I would have done the same.
I gardened a little bit more than usual. And I was just chilling in my bed watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what I was watching, but it doesn't matter. Nope. I remember Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay. Which one?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think the first one.
I've never made it through a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I've fallen asleep every single time I tried to watch the first one.
We're going to change that. You have to see it, dude. So good. Anyways.
Bridget, if you're listening to this, she knows because she was the one that tried to make me watch it because I had told her I never watched it. This was like back in high school. And I fell asleep immediately. Like I didn't even make it through the full opening scene, I don't think.
Okay.
She was so mad at me. Anyways, okay, go ahead.
We have to do that. Anyways, I'm like kind of paranoid already, and I'm like hearing things from like Kristen's hallway, and I'm like, Kristen's not home. Who could that be?
No.
And I always have this fear that like I was too zoned in on the TV and somebody like walked into my apartment right past me without me knowing. You
have always had that fear.
Yes.
You've told me about that before.
Yeah. For some reason, home invasions freak me out.
And she gets paranoid a lot. Like Kelsey, when she gardens, gets so paranoid.
Not every time, but like when I do.
I feel like it's more often than you think.
Really?
Like I think it more often than normal.
Well, I will say pretty much every night when I go to bed, I'm like a little bit freaked out.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't garden while you were gone because I was too scared.
But yeah,
anyways.
So I'm just, you're paranoid.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm paranoid. But like when you really think.
Yeah, no, keep going.
So I'm like,
it would have freaked me out too.
I keep pausing the TV and like listening, but I was too scared to go out there. So I just would like listen for a while. And then if it was quiet for long enough, I'd play the TV again. And then I'd hear something and I'd pause and I'd be like, so I'm like,
you're in your room, right?
I'm in my bedroom. And at this point, I'm sitting on the edge of my bed. Like I'm sitting on my bed, my feet are on the floor.
Like listening?
Like listening. Facing the TV, the door's to my left, but I'm like listening. Okay. But I was like ready to run if I had to. Where am I going to run? Into the intruder? It's the only direction.
You have to go past him, please.
Yeah. So I'm just listening, thinking, I don't know what I was thinking. What is listening going to do? What is that going to do for me?
I don't know.
Then I hear Kristen's door close. Okay. And Kristen keeps her door closed when she leaves.
I keep it closed because of the cats.
Yeah. She's allergic to cats. My cats are not allowed in her room. They know that. They don't even really go over there. And I hear the door close, which means somebody had to open it to close it. And it was for sure your door closing. There's literally nothing else that could have been.
And I was not home. Like Kelsey also has my location on her phone. Yeah. So like she knows I'm not home.
Yeah. And this whole time I was already fighting the urge to text Kristen and be like, come home, I'm scared, because she's on a first date with a lawyer. Yeah. And once I heard the door close, like kind of hard, I said nope. And I immediately am like texting Kristen, like, you need to come home right now. I'm not kidding, dude. Somebody's in the apartment. Somebody is in the apartment. And I heard your door close.
Yeah. And I am literally on this date and I'm like, oh my gosh, because my phone just keeps going off and it's on silent, but it's like, it was just vibrating over and over again. Yeah. And like it was loud. Like you could hear it. And
was it on the table?
It probably was actually. And he goes, is everything all right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, one second. I'm like, so sorry. This is my roommate. She typically like wouldn't text me unless it was something.
Yeah, because I knew she was going, like, it's not like she just goes places and I'm like, wonder what she's doing. No, if she leaves and I don't know, I text her, I'm like, where are you going?
Yeah. like she knows where I'm at. Like she knows I'm on a date. And she like wouldn't bother me knowing that. Anyways, okay. So I'm like, I'm so sorry. This is my roommate. Like, I need to read these texts. And he's like, no problem. Go ahead. So I'm reading the text and I am laughing because I know that you gardened.
Yeah.
And two, in my head, I'm like, what the hell could it be?
But you knew that like I wouldn't have texted you if I was like, oh, it's just because I gardened, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So
no,
I'm like
I was like,
lawyer.
I heard for sure didn't I text you and ask if you closed your door before you left or something? And you said yes.
So, and that's when you were like telling me
come home. I'm like,
what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was so scared at this point. I was paralyzed. I don't know if you've ever been paralyzed in fear. It's happened to me a few times. And this was one of those times I couldn't move. Like I just froze and I'm just listening. The TV at this point is paused and I told myself that I'm not pressing play again.
No.
Until Kristen's home, because if they hear the TV, they'll know I'm home. Like what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They didn't already.
Right.
Yeah.
They had to have walked past me.
Yeah.
Sitting on my bed. So I'm freaking out because I know for sure I heard the door close. Then I'm hearing it rattle. Okay. I keep hearing the door handle rattle.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
I'd be freaking out too.
Oh my God. I'm going to cry. I'm pretty sure I cried at one point.
I think you told me that you cried.
I was so scared. Okay. She's on her way home.
But it was near the end of the date anyways. But I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, this is not a drill. I have to go.
Yeah.
Like, we need to pay and like I need to go. And he was like, oh my gosh, like no problem, is everything okay? And I was like, I don't know if there's someone in our apartment, but Kelsey's like freaking out and telling me that there's someone in our apartment, and so I need to like go and make sure she's okay. And he was like, oh my God, like okay. One, he did not offer to come with. I don't think.
Oh my God.
Which at the end of the day makes sense.
It was a first date.
Knowing,
like you could have been crazy. It could have been a cop out. It could have been
exactly. Yeah. But now knowing who he is, like it makes total sense. He'd be like, yeah, you that's your problem.
Yeah,
I don't want to get involved.
That's your problem. Yeah.
But yeah, so I rushed home. I had gotten home and
you walked in and saw me sitting on my bed like terrified.
Yes,
right?
and I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Yeah. And then you were like, no, dude, like, do you hear that? And then I started hearing it. And then I started to be like, oh shit, like, yeah, what's going on? Like, and now I'm scared.
Oh my God.
Because at this point, you did come over and we went down my hallway and like it was rattling. And I was like,
you could see it moving.
Yeah. And I was like, it's probably just the wind. And then I think you were like, were your windows open? And I was like, oh no. Like,
oh my God.
Because I think it was really hot in October.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So we had already turned our AC on.
And we checked the bathroom first. I remember turning on the light, like, looking behind the door, like there was no one in there.
Yeah.
So then we were like, hey, it's either her closet, which is to the left, or her door, which is straight ahead. And I think we checked the closet
just in case.
Because then I'm thinking, what if there's more than one intruder?
Yeah.
And this is a distraction. Like, who knows? Gosh. So then we open the door and my cat runs out. Joey runs out. And so we still searched the whole room. I made you look under the bed.
Because at this
point, you were
like,
there's no one in here. I said, you didn't check under the bed. You're like, well, they wouldn't fit. And I was like, look under the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. And at this point, I was a little paranoid too. I was like, okay, it was definitely Joey, but just in case.
But
like,
also, how did Joey get in there? Because you left the door closed. Which Joey, now I know how. He knows how to open doors.
Yeah.
And those handles were like kind of straight across.
Yeah,
so
they
he
were
would
like
jump up and handles. You could push them down and then the door would open.
And he literally jumped up, opened my door, and then he must have just hit it closed on accident. And so my door shut on him.
Yeah, he does this thing. He used to lock himself in my bathroom all the time. I had to start keeping my bathroom door closed because he'll go inside and then he'll put his paws on the door and like close it. And I don't know if he's purposely closing it, because he's done it so many times.
And then realizing that he's stuck.
Yeah, I don't know what else he could be doing by putting both of his paws on the door and closing it. Like, I don't know.
He's so funny.
Yeah, so we think that he like opened it and then got in there and closed it. And you had like things on your door, so it was kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Because it closed like hard.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, someone just slammed Kristen's door. Like, what's going on? Yeah, it was my cat. So basically, I sat in like paranoid fear for like 45 minutes and then eventually made Kristen leave her first date early because my cat got into her room.
In your defense, I think I would have been really freaked out too. I don't know though if I would have texted you, because I feel like I would have had too much pride to tell you that I was scared at home alone while you were gone.
Yeah, not me.
Like
every time Kristen's gone, I'm like, dude, I was so scared.
Yeah. No, like it wouldn't be out of respect for you. It would be because I have too much pride to like let you know that I'm scared.
Yeah.
And then scare you on a date. I'm like, no. Like,
because, and honestly, when you really think about it, like I know that it turns out that I like am brave in scary situations.
Yes, you are.
I feel like you wouldn't think that. So like at this time, you're probably like, what is Kelsey gonna do? Like, what is she gonna do? She's just not gonna come home because she's gonna be too scared to come home.
Right.
Or she's gonna bring this guy that she just met on a first date. She's gonna force him to come with her.
Yeah. So, oh my God. No, but in your defense, I would have been scared too. I totally would have. But it was so funny when Joey ran out of my room. I was like, no fucking way. Dude. I think I remember falling on the ground laughing.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to our scary stories.
Yeah.
While we are on the topic, next week, we're going to do something super fun. We're going to cover... Okay, well, the topic doesn't sound super fun.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say, wait.
We're going to cover what we would do in a home invasion, or what we like think we would do.
Yeah.
Or, like, we're going to have just like different scenarios of like home invasions and like what we would do.
Yeah.
Maybe do some research on like what the right thing to do is.
Yeah.
But we want to know what you guys would do.
Yeah.
So we're going to make a post on Instagram. Go to our Instagram at Kouch_Chronicles and comment what you think you would do in a home invasion. We're going to read them on the podcast. And let us know in the meantime if there's anything else you want us to cover, or if you have any scary stories for us or anything like that. We love it. So yeah, follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on TikTok, Kouch.Chronicles, and watch us on YouTube, Kouch Chronicles, Spotify, Kouch Chronicles.
If you just search Kouch Chronicles, you'll
with
find us at some point.
Make sure.
Yeah, Kouch with a K, Chronicles with a K.
Yes.
We love you guys. We love all you couch potatoes.
All right. See you guys next week.
See you next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.